Justice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
Protesters attend a rally in Dallas, Texas on Saturday, February 20th, 2016, in support of former NYPD police officer Peter Leung, who was convicted of manslaughter for the 2014 shooting death of Akai Gurley in a housing project, Sarawak. The 28-year-old Leung, who testified the shooting was an accident, could be sentenced to 5 to 15 years for shooting Gurley, who was unarmed.
While the minorities will bear excessive punishment, it will increase race-based inequality and intensify police-community relations. We are thus calling for all people and groups who love justice and freedom to stand behind Akai Gurley and Peter Leung and get united to say no to structural racism, to selective prosecution, and to injustice. We are fighting for a more equal, just, and better future. We are calling for NYPD and those who are truly responsible to shoulder the responsibilities.
Next, please let us welcome Wong Lee, who is an engineer, to speak.
I'm an ordinary engineer. I'm here today because my heart feels so heavy and I'm deeply concerned. I'm concerned about our living environment. I'm concerned about our working environment. I'm concerned about our American society in general. I hope what we're doing here today will make more people share our concerns. When I think about Peter Leung's case, I try to understand the case. Two rookie officers were patrolling at an unfamiliar high crime location. They were scared and poorly trained. Most of you probably seen a scary movie before. I'm not sure how good you are at controlling your instant response. In this case, the tragedy has happened. A bombshell bullet hits Mr. Gurley. I deeply mourn the death of Mr. Gurley. I deeply mourn the loss of an innocent life. What breaks my heart further is the way politics and justice are tangled up in this case. Instead of look at the root cause of the tragedy and look for the real solution, we simply threw Peter Leung to jail. I can see the negative impact of this conviction. It broke people's trust. Now, will police want to take any risk and work in such area again? Will residents living there be safer? Who will bear the cost of no trust? Is sending Peter Leung to jail going to fix the problem? His conviction just sets a very bad example and will not solve any of those issues. It would only destroy justice and trust. There is no winner in this case. We should focus on real solutions, such as the police training, and also improve the local community support. America is a great country. It is great because of its good at self-criticizing and self-correction. I hope this event will trigger some of that. I hope we can help this great country correct its mistakes. We will have exercising our right to speak. We will exercise our right to vote. Everyone, let us make our voice heard. Let's make all justice for Peter Leung. Let us call all solutions for this tragedy. Thank you.
States, a land of laws.
We don't share the same culture because we cherish cultural diversity. We don't share the same religion because we cherish religious freedom. What binds us is our commitment to a set of laws fairly and justly applied. That ensures us freedom, that ensures us equal opportunity, and liberates us from the fear of oppression. But today, we're here with a heavy heart. We're deeply troubled by the recent events that have violated our notion of what America is and what it stands for. The specter of racism, which has often troubled America, appears to have reared its ugly head again. We support African Americans in protesting police brutality and racial injustice. We are on the same side with them in the cases of Michael Brown, Eric Garner, and many others. In the unfortunate death of Akai Burley, our hearts go out to his family. We're not arguing for Officer Peter Liang's innocence, even though it was an accident. We do believe he is accountable for his actions, however unintentional. But second-degree manslaughter and up to 15 years in prison, we cannot help to ask this. Is this justice? We cannot help to ask. Is this how a broken legal institution tries to use an Asian American officer to pay for the sins of its...
We should have this confidence. Everybody, all people are equal. We are great. We are excellent. Now, I'm standing here, I want to say, first, I'd like to show my deeply sympathy to the death to Mr. Akai Curley and his family. There is no doubt about it. Truly, that is a tragedy. And I sincerely hope the Burley family will find peace, and I also pray for them and his young daughter. But second, my heart also like to show my sympathy to the police officer Peter Liang, who is convicted for 15 years in jail. Now, I have to say, that is accident, not a crime. That is injustice and unfair to possibly put him in prison for 15 years. He did not have any criminal intent. I think Officer Peter Liang must be held accountable for his action in a fair and just manner. Overreaching charges can only lead to further distrust from the Asian American community in the criminal justice system. Obviously, he became a sacrificial lamb in the community. So now, I have to say, I have to announce, which is definitely injustice and unfair. That is the reason why we are all here today to rally against this injustice conviction for young officer Peter Liang, right? Yes! You have the same reason with me, right? Yes! Great! Now I also like to tell everybody, we are Chinese, we are Asians, but also we are Americans, and we are people. Regardless color or economic status, we are all equal. We are all equal. Equal for all. Every individual person, every human being who do have grace. Agree with me? Yes!
I'm here. I know your time is very precious, so we appreciate you're here. Here, I'm begging you. Just one most important thing. Everybody would like to say, oh, we got discriminated. But why people discriminate on you? Not because you're too soft, too weak. How you can be strong? Anybody would dare to discriminate the Jewish people? No. we Chinese people, we stay in Chinese community. We speak Mandarin. We watch Chinese TV. It's very comfortable. I agree. But do you ever think about do something for your community, for your state, for your country? If you don't have any connection or any power in the major community, I'm not talking about Chinese community. I have been a volunteer for Plano City for 10 years. Very unfortunately, for all the 10 years, I'm the only single Chinese in my committee. I'm working with a Plano Recreation Committee.
Also includes the actions and thoughts caused by such division. I want to mention that injustice is not the issue of just one group, but a challenge to all. It is a menace that tears into the hearts and spirits of all humanity, although it may not be obvious to some. It bears its terrible head when we act discriminately, or lash out in bitterness, or refuse to allow true justice to prevail. And this is only magnified when society turns a blind eye to the injustice, although it has an obligation to correct it. Oftentimes, injustice comes sneakily, unalarmingly. Although we know that injustice has occurred, we ignore it, tolerate it, believing mistakenly that it was just a small blip on the radar, or that it has nothing to do with our own lives. But even the tiniest unjust action has terrible, serious consequences, events and effects no one should ignore. For if we do, we have offered no solution. Other times, in times of tragedy, we only concentrate on how injustice affects those like us and do not pay full attention to the others affected. It is of course the right thing to do to stand up for ourselves or our community. But when doing so, we must all remember that there is still others who, although not sharing our culture or way of thinking, have also been struck by the crushing weight of the pain of tragedy and injustice. We must move beyond cultural borders and reach out. For in the end, we are all Americans, all human beings, all entitled to justice. Indeed, we must further the cause of justice for all. Recently, there have been multiple incidents of injustice and turmoil, not just this one tragedy. And when I look at it all, I think of what Robert Kennedy, the Attorney General behind the Civil Rights Act of 1964, spoke of 50 years ago during the Civil Rights Movement of the 1960s. He said, what we need in the United States is not division, but love and wisdom and compassion toward one another and a feeling of justice toward those who still suffer within our country. In the light of the terrible tragedy of November 2014 and injustice of the events following it, we must remember to neither stand idly by or stand up for ourselves, but forget the pain of others. We must allow justice to prevail, not just for one group, but for all Americans regardless of race or background or belief. I see a bright future in front of all of us. I see a bright future where everyone is treated equally and fairly. But this is only possible if we all stand together, united, to fight for our rights and fight for justice. Thank you very much.
Tragedy, not felony. Tragedy, not felony. We want justice. We want justice. Equal justice.